to Nerd Sports. It's come to our attention that we need to put a disclaimer of sorts at the beginning of our episodes, so here we go. If you're driving over the road, sitting at work in the office, working from home, or just casually going about your day listening to the podcast either on Spotify or Apple Podcast, and the dulcet tones of our voices elicit certain reactions like male or female boners that last for 4 hours or more, you're welcome. And now, Nerd Sports.
Welcome to Nerd Sports. Today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, SummerSlam. That was this weekend.
Yes, that was. Yeah, that was. And John Cena.
He came back.
He came back.
And Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, John Cena, from my understanding, got his ass kicked.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked pretty bad.
Good. That's what he gets for bowing down to China.
But the other notable thing that actually happened this weekend was they actually had the winning wrestlers that won gold in the male and the female in the Olympics on the show.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, first woman U.S. Olympic winning gold in the Olympics. That was a female on the female contender, and she was also. I watched her. I don't get Greco wrestling because I watched it once, and I didn't get the points, the points on it, and how they do the wrestling and everything like that. Because it's just, I was like, this is just a porno without any penetration.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. If someone can actually tell me how wrestling is supposed to do it and everything like that, I mean, not like entertainment wrestling, but
like actual wrestling.
Actual wrestling, how it's supposed to work out and everything, because it's just, I was like, I've seen this, but I've seen penetration too on this. It's
twist his dick. What? Oh, the old dick twist. Yeah, twist his dick. Yeah. We were on our way back from the job site today. We were talking about what happened in the past week in sports. Baseball-wise, something pretty historic. Miguel Cabrera joined the 500 home run club. He hit his fifth 500th home run over the weekend. He is only the 28th player in Major League history to have accomplished this feat. Obviously, according to BaseballReference.com, Barry Bonds is at the top of the list with 762. Shit. Yes, you need the skill in order to hit the ball, but if you look at Barry Bonds, and this is my shot, this is my shot that I'm calling on Barry Bonds. I don't give a flying fuck what anybody says. Oh, Barry Bonds belongs in the Hall of Fame. Bullshit. Okay. The dude came out his rookie year. Guy looked like your average ball player at best, maybe a little on the skinny side, right? The guy could rake. I mean, he could hit. That's that we knew.
Didn't he get into roids?
Yeah, he was at kind of the epicenter of that whole steroid scandal. I mean, the dude juiced up and started hitting balls 400 or 500 feet,
Was it like going into the locker room and seeing a person take the vaccine like 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, especially post-workout.
Yeah.
It was funny because during his home run race, when he was chasing Hank Aaron, who, for me, legitimately sits at the top of the home run list at 755.
I have to take your word for it because I have no understanding of sports.
Well, okay. So, but there was they were playing at the old ballpark in Arlington, right? Before they opened up Globe Life Park, it was the Rangers Stadium. Right there in Arlington.
The first one?
Yeah, the very first one.
Before the people of Arlington actually paid for the new stadium.
Yeah, they're still paying for that new stadium. Well, I say new stadium. They're still paying for that 20-something-year-old stadium that looks perfectly good. There was absolutely no reason to go get a freaking brand new stadium. I mean, they could have engineered a way to put a retractable roof over the existing stadium and been just fine. But I digress. So, anyway, so out there in right field, some Texas fans had taken it upon themselves to bring a banner to hang from the railing. And it said, Babe Ruth did it with hot dogs and beer. What about you, Barry?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually a good one.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, get after his ass.
And probably the time frame, he probably did it with cocaine too, legally.
No, actually, he didn't. He did it with beer, hot dogs, and cigars.
Okay.
Which ultimately led to his death because he did die of, I think it was throat cancer. But, I mean, for me, it's Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth. A-Rod comes in at fourth at 696, but he was part of that steroids era too. He's never going to see the Hall of Fame, ever. I mean, the guy spent more time in the locker room with a needle hanging out of his hip than he did doing anything else.
Could you imagine if they forgot the needle? And he was like, "Oh, I think A-Rod has to take that needle out
of all the active
leg."
players that have joined, the 500 home run club, Albert Pujols is sitting there currently in fifth with 662 home runs. He's still playing, and he's still able to hit the ball a mile. I mean, the guy is just a machine, and I respect the hell out of Albert Pujols because this guy, he's constantly getting tested. Constantly. Because, the dude is massive, right? He's always in the gym. He's always in the batting cages. Now, granted, the guy is slow as sin because, he's getting old. He started playing back in 2001, and that was his first season. And he's still currently playing, but like I said, he plays for the Dodgers. But I would like to see him hit 700. Now, do I think that he's realistically going to be able to do that? No, because right now he's still like 38 from that plateau. So that means at best he would have to have an all-star worthy season next year. There's no way that he's going to hit it this year. Just put that out of our minds and just call it a day. And then it's Jim Tomey. He played for Cleveland, Philadelphia, the White Sox, the Dodgers, and the Twins. He's sitting at 612. He retired back in 2012. Willie Mays, say hey kid, right? Played for both the New York and the San Francisco Giants and the New York Mets. He's sitting at 660. My all-time favorite player, hands down, King Griffey Jr. sitting at 630. Sammy Sosa, he's sitting at 609, but he's part of that steroids era as well. There was a summer where they were chasing Roger Maris's record of the most home runs in a single season. Him and Mark McGwire were doing it, and it was entertaining. But, everybody knew that either the ball was juiced or the players were, or maybe a combination of both. Now, when they say that the player, that the ball is being juiced, you can doctor a baseball to travel further by putting it in kind of like a shaker, or you can vibrate the ball to where it kind of livens up the core a little bit. There's still all kinds of, whenever home runs are going off the charts. Mm-hmm. There's always those rumors. You'll always see those comments online talking about how the ball is juiced, and a lot of it is the progression of the game. Now we're into this launch angle era, but Miguel Cabrera is out there. He's doing it the right way, and this guy, he's been playing since 2003, and he broke into the big leagues with the Florida Marlins, and that was the year that the Florida Marlins beat the New York Yankees in the World Series. Behind the pitching arm of Josh Beckett, but Miguel Cabrera, he played for Florida, and then he got traded to Detroit, and he's been there just kind of quietly raking, just kind of quietly building his numbers up. The guy's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But I think that at the end of the day, we're going to see, home run production is going to be kind of like, it's going to ebb and flow like the tide a little bit. Some years the home run productions are going to be up, and I mean the other years, I mean pitching is going to catch up with it, and you're going to see the number of strikeouts going up. Just like this year, I mean there's been 8 no-hitters in the big league so far, and so I mean it's just one of those freak occurrences. I mean it's not. I mean it's not indicative of a trend one way or the other, I think, but I mean. It's still entertaining to watch. It's still baseball at its purest core.
Yeah.
Ken Rosenthal said that, I mean, he was among one of the many people that said that the era of the no-hitter is over after they started cracking down on sticky substances with pitchers. And then, that one kid goes out there in his major league debut, and he throws a no-hitter. I mean, just hours after that tweet. So it's just pitchers figuring out something, and then, and then batters come around. I mean, these are professional players. I mean, they're going to make adjustments a lot of times from game to game, sometimes inside the game, and in a lot of instances, you'll see hitters make adjustments during that at bat. But I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I've always liked Miguel Cabrera. He's one of those very engaging personalities of the game. There's been videos that have gone around where like he's chirping back and forth with little kids that are in the stands, and like one kid was giving Miguel Cabrera a hard time, and Cabrera was giving the kid a hard time about not wearing the right jersey. I mean, the kid was wearing the opposing team's jersey, right? Mm-hmm. So this kid goes and he finds a Miguel Cabrera jersey, and he like gets Cabrera's attention. And so Cabrera goes over there, at the end of the game, and gives the kid a pair of batting gloves.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, it's stuff like that. I mean, Albert Pujols is the same way. There's a video of him from last year when he was playing with the Angels. One of his biggest fans was in Anaheim watching a game, and Pujols was playing first base. So, and this kid's got Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. So they get Pujols' attention. He comes over to the rail where the seats are, and he takes his jersey off. And he signs the jersey, hands it to the kid. So he gets an autographed, game-worn uniform, right?
Oh yeah.
And then the kid turns around, and he signs the jersey that the kid had on. I mean, to me, that's what it's about. That's what makes this game special.
Yeah, it's all about the heart of some of these players.
Exactly. And some of the, sometimes, I mean, you even see people like Aaron Judge doing it. As much as I don't like Aaron Judge because he plays for the Yankees, you'll see players play catch during the pregame warm-ups with fans in the stands. And it's just, to me, that's just kind of cool because they're just whipping the ball back and forth. They're just having a game of catch, but they're having a game of catch with a big league ball player.
Yeah.
I mean, and that makes the entire experience for that particular fan, that particular kid.
Yeah, because you don't
that
really
much more rich.
You really don't see that much, and the biggest what's considered the biggest sport is the NFL. And basketball all too much. I mean, you see it a lot with even just sports entertainment with WWE. I mean, there was a point in time to where Triple H, he was being all mean and everything, and a kid right behind him was crying and everything. He broke character and confronted the kid. The kid got like a showboat for being worried and everything like that, and he got tucking around in the back and everything. Everybody signed. I mean, there's even one that a person, a little kid that battled cancer, was like, it was more. It was in the front row and everything like that. But John Cena and Sting went up to the kid and everything, signed their stuff, and gave it to him.
Yeah.
And they literally, I mean, you can hear him. It's like, man, I'm never going to be as strong as you. Because, I mean, kid battled cancer and won.
Yeah.
I mean, that,
Kick that ass, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, these are grown men, and you see a lot of these like Make-A-Wish patients. You know,
got goosebumps off that one too.
Yeah, I did. But I mean, you see a lot of these Make-A-Wish kids becoming friends with the people that they wished for, you know, or that they wanted to meet and greet, or that their stories kind of become known, and athletes from these different professions, you know, these different organizations kind of gather around these kids. And if I'm not on the theme of wrestling, you said that, you know, there was a kid, I forget his name. You watch wrestling a whole lot more than I do, but
I can't remember that.
He was basically backstage all the time, and all of the wrestlers just like fell in love with this kid. And then the kid he lost his battle with cancer, and then when the family got that news out, I mean, you saw grown ass athletes. I mean, these like bulked up, you know, athletes just crying, like broke down crying backstage. And that prompted like an impromptu kind of a tribute during that one particular episode. I think it was on Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
It probably was.
Yeah, but I mean, it's stuff like that. You know, it's where sports transcends so many things, and it's such a unifier. It's also very divisive, but it's a unifier for the most part.
Connor McKillick.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but, and that's the thing about sports, regardless of what sport it is, I mean.
Oh, dude, he was in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They put him in the Hall of Fame.
But, I mean, you look at sports as a whole, and it's like, you see a lot of people that are like, oh, well, sports is just something that people who weren't smart enough to graduate college do. And it's like, no, I mean, because a lot of times, and actually a majority of the time, the people that are playing these sports, they are very, very, very intelligent. I mean, they're just absolute, for the most part, specimens of the human race.
Yeah, I watched a episode of The Bearded Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it was kind of a double thing because Brock Lesnar, he cuts his own meat.
Yeah.
Because he was a farmer. Or
that Brock Lesnar's got diverticulitis just like I do, and so he has to be very particular about the types of meat that he eats, because it does affect your gastric, you know, your GI tract.
Well, and just watching them and ask questions and everything of how to cut the meat and everything. Bearded Butchers, they're big on YouTube right now, and they show you how to cut meat.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the most mundane stuff you find on YouTube, you find watching for about hours.
Yeah.
Because one, there's usually a lot of it. I mean, I'll watch like stuff that people like cleaning rugs.
Mm-hmm.
Just I was like, huh, it's just fascinating stuff. But he seems like a really intelligent person and everything.
Yeah. Kind of wrap baseball up here a little bit. Just going to kind of throw some stats out here. Currently, the league leaders batting title right now. Trey Turner of the Dodgers. He's leading the National League with a 323 batting average. Shohei Ohtani is leading the majors with 40 home runs. And let's see here. RBIs is Jose Abreu from the Chicago White Sox with 92 RBIs. Starling Marte playing for the Athletics right now from Oakland. He's leading the stolen bases category with 39. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is leading the world right now with runs scored. Now, there's a difference between RBIs and runs scored. RBIs are runs batted in, so that's the number of people that you've driven across the plate, versus runs, which is the number of times you personally have crossed the plate. He has done it 93 times so far this year.
Damn.
So, yeah, we're in the home stretch. I mean, it's September's right around the corner. Like literally, it's going to be next week.
Who's going to be in the playoffs?
You know, I mean, that's
It's still up at a.
It's still up in the air. I mean, there's a few races that are just going to be just like out and out, just.
But Pittsburgh still number one.
No. Boston's been kind of stinking up the joint here as of late. They went on kind of a losing streak. They were in first place in the American League East. They are now in third with a 563 average, 71-55. So they're 6.5 games back of Tampa Bay, who's leading that division. So right now, Chicago White Sox, they're leading their Central Division by 9-game lead. Houston, they're leading the American League West. They've got a 4-game lead over Oakland. In the National League, you've got Atlanta leading the Eastern Division by 4.5 games over Philadelphia. In the National League, in the NL Central, Milwaukee's got a 7.5 game lead over Cincinnati.
Well, what I got right now, because I just pulled it up.
Let me finish.
Okay, fine.
Jeez. Maria, that's a shot. Anyway, in the NL West, you've got San Francisco with a 2.5 game lead over the Dodgers, which is very surprising considering that the Dodgers have the biggest payroll in baseball right now.
How did that happen?
You know what? It's just
because you don't really hear anything from the Dodgers.
Well, no, the Dodgers are making all kinds of noise because, I mean, they went out and made some heavy moves at the trade deadline. But while San Francisco's playing pretty decent, pretty solid, sound baseball right now, they've got – that's another shot.
That wasn't by my mistake. I was just
No. I mean, she was the one that came up with those terms, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right. But if you're driving, don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Don't be stupid. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Beat the heat.
That's what she's saying, that she's
Yeah.
going to drink water.
So as far as the wild card races are concerned, right now,
don't drink too much water.
in the American League, it is Boston and New York, which is going to be kind of funny because if it pans out that way, where if Tampa Bay wins the division, and New York and Chicago and Boston have to play that 1-game wild card play-in game, expect a Game 7 type atmosphere. I mean, which it is in essence because it's win or go home.
Okay.
But just due to the fact that New York went out and made all these heavy moves at the trade deadline, Boston pretty much did jack squat. Now, they've picked up a couple of key personnel along the way since the trade deadline. Chris Sale has come back off the injured reserve list from his Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. Well, say a year and a half ago. They just got Travis Shaw back from Milwaukee. They picked him up on waivers. Travis Shaw did play in Boston before. He was traded to Milwaukee, and then now we've gotten back. And he's already paying dividends because yesterday they were playing the Rangers in extra innings. Bases were loaded. He hits a walk-off grand slam against the Rangers yesterday, so that was pretty exciting for me. But over in the National League, let me see here. Let me scroll down. Right now, it's the Dodgers and the Reds who are occupying the 2 wild card spots for the National League. But San Diego's right on Cincinnati's heels. I mean, they are literally a game back as of today. I mean, it's still pretty tight. I mean, it's a 4.5 game deficit for St. Louis. Philadelphia's 5 games back. The Mets are 7 games out from the second wild card spot. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some teams that are just absolutely, and we're not saying this word yet. Wait till we get about after the first week of September. You're going to start hearing terms like the magic number or mathematically eliminated. Now, when they talk about the magic number, they're talking about number of games that you have to win in order to clinch a either playoff berth or your division. Okay, and it's if like say for example, let's just say Tampa Bay has like a magic number of 5. That means they've got 5 games that they have to win in order to clinch the division, right? It doesn't matter what anybody else does. As long as they win, that number shrinks because the teams that are behind them don't have 1 less game to make up that difference, right? versus mathematically eliminated. So I'm just going to go out on a limb. I'm calling my shot. Arizona not making the playoffs. Right now they're at 42 and 84.
Yeah, the big one is San Francisco Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, San Francisco,
And
they're leading their
Dodgers.
division right now.
And
So-
there's a lot of people. I'm reading up on all this stuff right now, but they're saying that the Blue Jays and the Yankees are might make the playoffs and everything. Don't count them out.
Toronto's 4.5 games back from the second wild card spot that Boston currently holds.
Yeah.
Now
and they're
Boston's
saying,
going. They're playing Minnesota tonight. Minnesota is playing just absolutely dreadful baseball right now.
I don't know. They're in fourth place. The Brewers.
No, the Twins.
Oh, Milwaukee. God damn.
Milwaukee Brewers. They're National League. Come on, these are the jokes, people. Let's go.
Okay.
Now, I mean, because
I get my sports.
the Twins play in the American League Central Division. That's a five-team division. Okay, they are sitting 17 games back. Okay, right now they're at 54 and 70. They are playing 435 baseball. They're not even playing 500 level ball, which is the same number of wins and losses. Okay, so right now, they're looking at a negative 90 run differential. The only team, there's two teams that are worse than they are in the American League right now. It's Texas with a 43 and 81 record right now. They're playing 347 baseball. So I mean they've got a worse record. They've got a negative 148 run differential, which means they give up 148 runs for every run that they get, kind of a deal, right?
But how did they beat the Red Sox that one time when we went to the state? No, did they? Yeah, the Red Sox lost that game that we went to.
You remember today when I was at work that I said that the broken clock is right twice a day? Okay. Baseball, just like any other sport, okay, you hear this term any given Sunday when you're talking about football.
Yeah.
Baseball is a game designed around failure. I mean, even the superstars go up to bat at 10 times, and they'll fail 7 out of 10 times. It's those 3 at-bats that they get where they get on base that gets them that 300 batting average.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, and I can't believe I'm about to make this kind of this kind of a statement here, but at the beginning of the season, all of the pundits, all of the experts, and even the front office from the Boston Red Sox said that this is going to be a rebuilding year. Okay. For whatever reason, the chemistry that was in the locker room just kind of translated to, wins out on the baseball field. And that's why Boston was in first place for so long this year. The pitching, and its horrible quality, is finally caught up with them. Okay, the Boston right now, they've got like a plus 53 run differential. Okay, so I mean, they're scoring more runs per game than the Yankees are, but the Yankees are playing, they're winning those close ball games. Yesterday, for example, Boston was winning 3-1 going into the 9th inning. All Matt Barnes, our quote-unquote closer, all he had to do was get 3 outs. That's all he had to do. But instead, no. What does he do? He drags his gas can out to the fucking hump, and he blows a save by allowing Texas to tie the game, sending it to the bottom of the 9th, and obviously the Red Sox couldn't put a run over, and that's why it took 11 innings to beat the Texas Rangers yesterday. But it's just, pitching is just, you need good pitching, because if your pitching sucks and your pitchers get just hammered, you could still record outs, but if they're what they call loud, quote unquote loud outs, which means they're knocking the shit out of the ball and they're hitting it deep into the outfield, or players are able to barrel up on the ball and you're getting an exit velocity off the bat at 100 plus miles an hour. It could be a ground ball, but if that ball's coming off the bat at 117 miles an hour, your pitcher's not doing something. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah, you got these pitchers that love to pitch to contact, which they induce ground balls or they induce fly balls or whatever, right? But there seems to have been the art of the strikeout seems to have been kind of put on the back burner. Pitching coaches and managers love to see pitchers pitch to contact. They want to see the ball put into play and make the defense behind the pitcher do the work, right? Because that's where all the money is. You pay money. You pay players for not only their offense, but you pay them for the leather that they can flash with the defense, right? I mean, that's where all these Gold Gloves all these Golden Glove awards come from. Rawlings, at the end of the year, they pick one position player from each league, or a player from each position. It doesn't matter. It's like from each of the teams from every league, right? Or from both leagues, rather. And they'll hand out 9 Gold Glove awards, and it's every defensive player, or every defensive position gets one award per league, right? So the American League gets 9 Gold Gloves handed out. Then the American League and National League each 9 apiece, right? And that's your best defensive player in that position, right? But you need good pitching. You need good pitching. You need good solid defense, and you need an offense that knows how to. They need to have strike zone disciplines. Don't be swinging for shit that's down around your fucking feet. And don't be swinging at shit that's above the damn strike zone. And do not swing at stuff that's outside the plate, because all you're encouraging these shitty umpires to do is to expand that strike zone. If you're going to go fishing at it, they're going to call it a strike. It's bad enough that they're missing calls like crazy. Just the quality of the officiating this year has been horrid. And that is mildly putting it. It's been lackluster at best. There's a few shining examples of like calls that were gotten right, but it just kind of seems like since we've introduced instant replay or these challenges into Major League Baseball, umpires,
are they getting lazy?
Yeah, they're getting lazy. And then you got people like Angel Hernandez who have absolutely no business umpiring a Major League game. I think he leads the universe in bad calls and calls that have been overturned. And when he's behind the plate calling balls and strikes, you can forget about it. If he decides that he wants to take a pitch off and you throw that shit down the middle, he'll call it a ball. Angel Hernandez has got no business in being in baseball. When he
You think he's being paid off?
No, I think at this point he's just being a crusty old fart because
it's pretty bad whether you actually know the umpires.
Players, when they see that he's behind the plate, they know that they're in for a long day. They really do. And if he's anywhere on the field, that spot on the field, may the odds be ever in your favor. Because this guy, I cannot state it enough. This dude needs to be fired. Because umpires, just like in the NFL with the referees, they get graded by the
teams?
No, they don't get graded by the teams. They get they get graded. Their opportunity to referee or to umpire in the postseason is based solely on their regular season performance. So they get a rating: good calls versus blown calls versus calls overturned. Right? Angel Hernandez has been left out of the last 3 postseasons because he's that terrible. Right? Last year, he sued Major League Baseball, stating that the reason why he was being left out of the postseason is because of racial discrimination because he's Hispanic. That lawsuit got tossed out quick. It went in front of the judge, and the judge was like, "Get the fuck out of here." Literally, I think it would have been great if the judge would have stood up behind his bench and would have been like, "You're gone."
That would be hilarious.
Gave that strike 3 call, or at least told him, it's like, "Hey, tossed him out of the courtroom. You know, it's like, hey, you know this sign, right? Like that? Get out of here. Um, uh,
God, I'm looking at because I was curious because they have NFL referee stats.
yeah, it's
That's going way in the deep end where, oh man.
yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy because, I mean, the game should never be about the officiating crew ever, but some officials, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, some officials just absolutely cannot stand being overshadowed by the players who are being paid to play the game. And they have to, and these umpires, referees.
Is there only 17 refs for NFL?
Yeah, I mean, they've got like a limited number. Well, no. Because I think every crew has got like. No, that number can't be right. Because you're gonna have inactive. Referees, line judges, and stuff like that, versus the active crews. But they've got crews that. Because you've got like what 30 teams, so that you're you're playing 14, 15 games a weekend.
I don't know because
I would, and then
I would have
on
to say
top of that,
I would have
on
to
top
say
of that,
you're correct.
On top of that, they've got a crew that rotates in and out to the head office in New York City because that's where all the instant replays go.
No, what I'm looking at right now is the 2020 NFL ref stats used the season stats when using your daily NFL fantasy lineup. I think this is the top like 17 or something like that. But anyways, God, I know there's people out there that actually go like super heavy in their fantasy teams to where they're like, who's the ref? And who's doing
and
this?
it's sad because that's a factor now. And
I bet it was always a factor, but
and
now it's
and,
like
and
online factor.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, dudes get into it because, especially with like fantasy baseball, which it is the hardest fantasy sport to manage because you have so many games, so many different players, and I mean, it's not like fantasy football where you've got a defensive squad and then you got your offensive people, right? Where you pick.
Yeah, because they only play like 3 days a week.
Yeah, well, with baseball, you're playing every day.
Yeah,
that's a part-time job.
That's another reason why I couldn't get into like baseball. I can't really get into sports all too much, only because the basic fact of, I mean, yes, if I want to see the team, well, now that Amazon, you can watch all the stuff for free, but
well, just the Thursday night games, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways,
but off of that.
Anyway, so yeah, moving on. But yeah, if the playoffs were to start today, I mean, you're looking at Tampa Bay, Chicago White Sox, and Houston, kind of basically getting like an extended rest because the wild card game between New York and Boston would get played, and then the winner of that game would go on to play the number 1 seed in the American League, which right now would be Tampa Bay. So. And then you would see Chicago and Houston squaring off in their divisional round. So you've got your wild card game, you've got your divisional round, then you've got your league series, and then you go to the World Series. But they're talking about. I mean, there was even rumors of like expanding the playoffs, and I'm just like, wait, don't water it down. I mean, really, just don't water it down because for the longest time there was 2 divisions.
I think that's more or less a cash grab to.
It is
because it's slowly going on the decline. Really.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, it was like with the Field of Dreams game. That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was the highest rated regular season game in 16 years.
Only 1 million people watched that game.
I mean, it was the highest rated regular season game in 16 years.
God.
I saw an article that was titled that says Major League Baseball needs Iowa.
Oh yeah.
And they do. The Reds and the Cubs are supposed to play that game next year, and I mean, there's players that they know that they're going to be on that team next year. I mean, they're already getting excited for it. I mean, they're like, we're going to get to play in that field, and a lot of major league players, almost to a man, will be like, ask them what their favorite baseball movies are, and you're going to hear, you can hear a lot of standards. You're going to hear The Sandlot. You're going to hear, it will be Bull Durham. You're going to see things, hear things like For Love of the Game, but on that list, Major League is another big one. But on that list, almost a good high percentage of players are going to tell you that Field of Dreams is their favorite baseball movie.
And I've seen that movie too, and that's still a tear jerky for me.
It is. I mean,
tear jerker, jerky.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I was talking with my dad about that farmhouse being rentable for the weekend, and he was like, "Well, how much is it?" I said, "It's $2,300, but you get the whole house, you get the original field, and I mean, you get to turn the lights on at night." And he's like, "That would almost be worth it." Just to go out and play a game of catch. I was like,
yeah.
You bet your ass it would. I said, because if I had $2,300 burning a hole in my pocket right now, that's exactly where I would go. I'd be like, hey, no, we're gonna go spend a weekend up in Dyersville, Iowa.
I'd help you pay for it too.
It's like
it's not even the basic fact of it. It's something that basically it's like a whole thing that you get a group of friends and go, hey, this is how much it is. So and so and so and so is going with us. We're all pitching in. We're gonna just toss our money in, and we're gonna go to this.
Right.
And I mean, how many people could probably stay in that house? Probably about two families. No,
I'm not mistaken. I think it's a 4-bedroom house because I know it's 2 stories.
So about 3 families, and God, I'd sleep on the couch. I don't care. Anyways, going off of baseball, we got NFL news. This is the only news I've found right now. Johnny's probably going to look up other stuff. The Jaguars replace rookie what is that, RB? What's the RB?
Running back.
Travis, I can't pronounce his last name.
Yeah, I saw this story earlier today because I've got the NFL app on my phone. So, okay, and I would be remiss. Next week on the sports show, the jersey that I'm going to wear is Tim Tebow's Jacksonville Jaguar jersey.
Oh, did you finally get it?
Yeah, it came in.
Okay.
Now, yes, I ordered the jersey because we talked about it. He's the #1 selling jersey on NFL.com.
Yeah.
I finally managed to score one. And the Jaguars cut him, right? And that was one of the biggest reasons why I was looking forward to going to this game this coming Sunday down in Dallas to watch the Cowboys play the Jaguars because I want to see Tim Tebow play. And I'm like, ain't that a pain in the ass? But you know what? I don't care. I'm standing firm, and I'm going to wear my Tim Tebow jersey to AT&T Stadium anyway. I don't care. I just don't care. My ability to give a fuck died years ago with the drought. Okay, so sir, LT, you see that way off in the distance? That was the direction I gave my last fuck.
Well, I turned my fucks into a candle and I started burning it.
So it's on fire.
Yeah.
I saw a balloon once that spelled out the word fuck, and I was like, oh, look at that, a flying fuck. Alas, it was not mine to give. But but yeah, rookie running back Travis Etienne, that's what I'm going with. Initially, they were talking about it was a knee injury, but then they came out with more information. They said it was with it's
a mid-foot sprain that is lymphatic.
Yeah, and it's going to require surgery.
That is now to end his season per source.
Yeah, and that was coming from Adam Schefter Adam Schefter on Twitter. And that came out at 1:12 this afternoon. I think it's Central Time. So, but he only played 16 offensive snaps in 2 preseason games.
Well, he's a rookie, so
Yeah, I mean, he was one of these products from this most recent draft.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've noticed, and football's the only thing I somewhat keep up with.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that a lot of the preseason games, you lose like a shit ton of fucking rookies.
Yeah.
Due to injury and everything like that.
Well, especially with the last couple of seasons, because a lot of these players from college had the opportunity to opt out because of COVID protocols.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that hurt some of these players because they didn't get that game condition or game speed conditioning. They some of them just kind of took the year off. I mean, they spent time in the weight room or whatever, but they weren't conditioning their body to play football. Because you can go and lift and deadlift, and you can do squats and do whatever. You can bench press, and you can do every exercise you possibly can do in a gym, lifting heavy things and yelling and screaming and recording personal bests and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a big difference between just weightlifting and everything like that, and actually training for like
and training for a game.
It's like martial arts.
Yeah.
I could hit a bag all day long, but until I go and hit like a wooden dummy or something like that, or something that has like a little bit of non-give,
Yeah.
I will not be able to take a person down. I mean,
Yeah.
I went from hitting a punching bag for a while to hitting a tree.
Right.
And it worked out really good to the point to where, because of my size and everything, nobody looks at me to the point to where I can't. That was funny.
For those of you who are listening strictly on our audio-only podcast, I'm refilling my glass of tea, and when I opened up the half-gallon,
It
squirted on me.
Yeah, it did. I was so happy to see it.
And for those of you keeping score at home, this is not alcoholic. It is straight tea and sugar the way God intended.
Yeah. But I still like
Dear
because
God, that's another shot.
I know.
No, that's 3.
Yeah. What we're talking about now? Here's okay. Let me finish my stuff first, and then we'll go into the.
Okay.
Because I thought about the whole thing. I'm trying to stay on point, but because of my size and everything, everybody thinks, because I don't have like physical strength, but when
Right.
it comes to like punching and stuff like that, or jiu-jitsu and everything like that,
Right.
I'm pretty proficient. I mean, you marry a Filipino woman, you have to defend yourself somehow.
Okay, so you're saying you marry a Filipino woman and you have to defend your. Okay.
How many people? Every time that I've actually said, it's like, who was your? What kind of person was your ex?
Now,
It's like,
bear
well,
in
she was-
mind, Asian women are probably some of the only women in the world that you'll be able to physically see eye to eye on with.
I'm not that short.
You're not that tall either.
You're like a cunt hair towards me, man.
Seriously?
Yeah. I'm 5'10".
Yeah, I'm 6'1".
Oh, okay, that makes sense then.
So.
I thought you said you're like 5'11". Who the
No.
fuck's 5'11"? Someone told me that they're 5'11".
Well, I mean, 6 foot 6'1". It just depends on what gas station I'm walking out of, but.
Anyways, all right, down to the last part. What we're talking about anytime we're saying take a shot. One of our main listener, Maria, that we keep on talking about constantly throughout our shows because she sends us messages and everything. Today was kind of funny because we said something in another episode on one of the other shows. And she laughed so hard that she had to physically stop her vehicle off the road because she could barely breathe because she was laughing that hard. That was classic. But anyways, I was literally thinking that if we actually do the drinking game thing live, like we were talking about, we could do it at the Legion Hall. We can do some kind of make it a charity event, or I don't give a shit.
Right.
It would basically be more or less everybody having fun and everything like that, and probably getting to know us and everything, getting to know each other. But we have to come up with the rules,
Right.
for it. And the first one she made, it was whenever you say, like, and you do that a lot. But it's funny because she hears it and she's like, man, you can make that a drinking game. I was like, I'm down for this, and I was like, I could probably make him do that a lot. I mean, you do it to yourself too.
True.
So that's the drinking game part. We are also going whenever you go, dear God.
Yeah, dear God. No, and that one doesn't count. But like,
I
okay,
was
so
saying
for
that would
example,
probably be
like
3 shots.
when, like, okay, like when your dyslexia just kicks into high gear,
Oh yeah.
and I'm just sitting there, I'm like sitting there going, what in the actual fuck did he just say? You know, sometimes I don't feel like dropping the F-bomb, but I just want to sit there and go, oh dear God. You know, it's just
It's one of those moments where you just realize what I was trying to talk about. You're like, most of my actual friends, me and Johnny, he hasn't got his secret decoder ring for talking for me.
Yeah, I haven't drank nearly enough Ovaltine to get that thing sent in yet.
Yeah. Anyways, most of my other friends, they do have the secret decoder ring where they speak my language. Where if you're with like me and Kai or me and Jason, he's been on the show too a couple of times.
Right.
But they would just look at you going, you didn't get it. Hold on, I'll explain it to you. It's this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it's those moments where I'm just like, what in the actual fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then I have to think bigger picture. The fuck is wrong with me? Because I'm sitting here hanging out with you. I'm like, my God, how far have I fallen? I feel like, dare I say it, Lucifer sometimes? Or I'm just like, oh, I was God's favorite one. And then he casts me into hell. Like, no, it's not that bad. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, David's probably one of the better human beings that I've come into contact with over the last few years. And I don't know, I think it's just because of the show that we've really kind of just clicked.
Yeah.
And
it was one of those things, it was happenstances that we actually met.
Yeah.
And it was a good happenstance because I was looking for someone that actually I know that I'm funny, but I'm only funny. I can't do comedy. I can't go to like a comedy show like that.
Yeah, I can't do an open mic. Yeah, no.
I can't do an open mic, even though I've tried. I've written down stuff and everything, but I just can't do it. And some people are like that. They can't do like open mic stuff. But they're really funny when it comes with other people.
Yeah, my girlfriend's cousin does stand up down in Houston, which there's a couple of different people, or there's one person at least that we're trying to work through her to get an interview set up here. I'm going to ask her about her cousin Royce, because I mean he does stand up and apparently he's pretty damn funny. So that might be a subject for kind of one of our what the hells, because I want to say that he played arena football or minor league baseball. He used to be a professional athlete, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But at some point, I mean, never like made it to the show, kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
Well, I know he was paid to play, so
I know a guy that when we had that football team here.
Yeah.
That he was a correctional officer, Crookie.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about it all the time. Him going to the events and everything like that, and doing the.
Yeah, I think I met him one night.
He's a good guy. He just has a weird speech.
Yeah.
His speech is a little bit weird, but he's a really great guy and everything like that. Great to work with and everything. He shot up. He became I think he became a major. He's a major right now.
Oh wow, yeah, okay, so working his way up through the ranks. I see him.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for this week. I was actually kind of worried going into this episode because I was like,
There was
it
there
really wasn't a whole
big
lot there.
news.
Yeah, it wasn't like
All the big
jaw
news-
dropping or anything.
Yeah, all the big news is more or less going off of other stuff that we talk about at times, but right
Yeah,
now-
kind of look for. I mean, with football ramping up to start their kickoff for the regular season, and baseball winding down towards the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be an interesting, about a month and a half, 2 months.
that we're gonna have to learn how to talk football.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to talk football. I mean, I can hold my own.
I just can't wait till December. I got to talk to my friend, and I got to talk to my brother-in-law and everything. I want to do kind of a live show because we always go to his house. We watch the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, I usually hold. Now, last year I helped co-host an event over at Buffalo Wild Wings with some members from the American Legion Post. My girlfriend, she got to come up for this year, and she got to kind of experience that really for like the first time. So that was fun. But yeah, I mean, that's something that we can do. We might even be able to talk to, Buffalo Wild Wings and see.
I do not want to do it there. It's always packed when you do stuff like that.
Well, no, because when we did that, we did it right there in the garage part of it,
Yeah.
and we basically had that whole side of the restaurant to ourselves.
Okay.
So we can try to talk to them, see if they'd be willing to let us kind of set up there.
Well, the main reason that we do it at his house and everything is because we know we have. If I get a little bit blitz, but I don't drink that much anymore. But if
And I don't either. I mean, don't
I
get me
can't
wrong.
stand the headaches. I'll do the drinking game and everything like that, but I'll try to lighten the load. I mean, even Marie was like, I'm probably not going to drink that much anyways.
Really? Because, I mean, all she does is talk shit about how much she can drink. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things is I'll just...
That's happening.
Okay.
Just
Well,
called her out. Just called her out. Be like, oh, well, I'm kind of a lightweight now. Look, no. Put your ego aside. Check it at the door. Or if you want, bring your damn ego with you. I don't care.
And we'll make sure that we have like...
The entertainment value might be a little bit higher if she brings her ego.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get lifts and everything. But...
Lives.
Ubers or lifts.
Ubers. Oh my God, it's so much Uber. Like, no, go away.
It's so funny. The beginning of the internet and everything like that. Everybody told you it's like stop meeting up with strangers, and now we're.
That's all we do. We call strangers to our house to give us rides. Yeah, it's
food.
like.
You know what's really sad though? I've only seen like a couple of articles where a person died because the Uber driver ended up killing somebody.
And it's funny because you think about some of the other things that we were told as kids that ended up being lies. Don't talk to strangers, don't get into cars with strangers. Well, one of my favorite lies that we tell kids nowadays is we don't lick other people.
Fuck. No.
It's my favorite.
Remember that whole Adam thing that John Walsh?
Yeah.
He became famous only because he did America's Most Wanted and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that made-for-TV movie, my mom almost tattooed the physical address that we were staying at right there onto my body when I was 8.
Okay.
That was
Because
one of
of
my
the
sisters.
sensitive nature of that particular subject, I'm not going to. That's a little insane. I mean, I get the premise behind it.
No, that's nothing. Okay, yeah, it's kind of not sensitive nature to me because I lived it, and
I was just talking about the fact that it's your mom.
Yeah.
So
no, it's one of those things. I'm over that subject, and yes, I loved her. I care for her. I wish she was still here.
Yeah.
But no, I literally saw her trimming a leaf and stepping on it while on it up in a tree.
See, that's just a recipe for a good time.
Actually, it was a recipe to go to the hospital because she broke her fucking ankle.
Again. Good times, right? I mean, the fact that she broke her ankle is a direct result of her inability to perform a proper parachute landing fall.
That is true.
And on that note, we are going to wrap up this week's episode of Nerd Sports. Remember, if you get a he or she boner that lasts for more than 4 hours because of the dulcet tones of our voices, you're welcome. And stay classy, San Diego.
I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
Thank you for watching.
Woo!
Bye.